The West Bank has been facing an unprecedented rise in child deaths, with the figures reaching a devastating level over the past year. Since the outbreak of violence on October 7, 2023, a shocking number of Palestinian children, 171 in total, have been killed, according to the United Nations. This translates to nearly one child dying every other day, making it one of the most disturbing trends in the region in decades. The violence is not confined to any single event, but rather represents a tragic reality of daily life under occupation. Children like Mohammed Murad, Ahmad Hoshea, and Ghassan Zahran have become symbols of this heartbreaking escalation. Mohammed, a 12-year-old football enthusiast, was shot dead in June while attempting to return home after practice. His death, captured on video by a witness, highlighted the cruel circumstances in which many of these children lose their lives. Often without any direct engagement in violence, as in Mohammed's case, his mother, Haneen, now maintains a small shrine in his memory, filled with his personal items, including football boots and a prized Real Madrid shirt. She recalls how he was just starting to grow up before his life was tragically cut short by a gunshot wound to the abdomen. Similarly, Ghassan, a 14-year-old boy, was killed by Israeli soldiers on July 9th while playing with his friends. Despite efforts by a local resident to help him, Ghassan died from his injuries after being shot. The Israeli military's explanation that Ghassan was a masked terrorist and that he posed a threat by throwing stones was met with skepticism by witnesses. No matter the circumstances, the loss of life is a constant source of trauma for families like Salam Zahran's, whose memories of Ghassan remain framed in the quiet moments of their lives, such as when he made her morning coffee just hours before his death. The larger trend of child fatalities in the West Bank is staggering. The Israeli military has not taken responsibility for these deaths, and investigations into the killings are almost non-existent, as outlined by groups like Defense for Children International. The lack of accountability has led to a sense of despair among Palestinian families, who feel powerless to seek justice for their children. Murad Hoshea, Mohammed's father, expressed his frustration. "My son was innocent. This is total oppression." While the global focus has shifted largely to the violence in Gaza, the scale of suffering in the West Bank is undeniable. With more than 1,000 children also injured, this escalating violence reflects a wider issue of systemic injustice. The lack of meaningful legal consequences for these deaths fuels the ongoing tragedy, as international organizations like UNICEF continue to raise alarms about the dangers facing children in this conflict. In the midst of these horrors, one thing remains clear. The loss of these young lives is a constant, unrelenting cycle of grief and trauma for Palestinian families. It is a crisis that demands attention and action from the international community, as the deaths of these children remain largely ignored by those in power. The human cost of this ongoing violence is staggering, and the children of the West Bank deserve to live without fear, as much as any child does anywhere in the world. Stay subscribed for more videos.